Are you ever watching a match? Maybe you're half paying attention, scrolling on your phone. Suddenly you hear a sound that makes you look up. A slap that echoes a little too loud. A knee connects flush with a jaw. A guy who doesn't roll with the punch just drops like a sack of bricks. And in that split second, the whole vibe of the match changes. You stopped looking at a performance and you started watching a fight. People love to say wrestling is fake, and yeah, the finishes are predetermined, the drama is scripted, but anyone who's been a fan as long as I have, 18 years and counting, holy I need a life, knows the truth. Sometimes wrestling gets very real, very fast. Today we aren't talking about working snug or strong style. We're talking about moments where the script went out the window, the potatoes, the receipts, and the shoot fights. We're breaking down the times where wrestlers stopped acting and started throwing real hands. Now, before we get into the bodies, we need to get our terminology straight. If you're a casual fan, you might not know these words, but they dictate everything that happens in the ring. First, you have a potato. That's when you hit a guy way harder than you're supposed to. Usually, it's an accident. You get excited, you slip, the other guy moves the wrong way, and you, bam, you punch your opponent in the nose for real. It happens. It's a contact sport. Then, you have a receipt. This is the payback. If you potato me and I think you were being careless or unsafe, I'm gonna give you a receipt, a stiff shot back to let you know, hey, wake up. I'm trusting you with my body. Don't disrespect it. And finally, you have shooting. This is when the cooperation completely stops. It's not a match anymore. It's two guys legitimately trying to hurt each other on live TV. This is the danger zone. Today, I have 4 examples that show different levels of this, from professional wake-up calls to straight-up assault. Now, let's start with a modern example that a lot of you might remember. Royal Rumble 2018. Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Kane. Early in the match, Braun rushes Brock and throws a knee, and he gets a little reckless. He drives that knee right into the side of Brock's head, and you could see Brock's head snap back. That was a potato, and it was a big one. Now, Brock Lesnar is a former UFC heavyweight champion. He is quite possibly the last human being on earth that you want to accidentally hit in the face. Now, watch what happens next. Brock doesn't complain to the ref, he doesn't sell. He stands up and throws a legit right hand to the side of Braun's head. He rings his bell, and Braun actually staggers. Now, this is stiff wrestling, done right. It's ugly to watch, but it is professional. Braun was being dangerous, and Brock gave him a receipt to say, you're in the ring with a killer. Treat me with respect. Now, Braun learned a lesson. Nobody got seriously injured, and the match continued. That is the code of business, but not everybody follows that code. So let's go back to the Attitude Era. The Acolytes, Bradshaw and Farouk. These guys, they were the policemen of the WWF locker room. If you acted up or disrespected the business, you had to deal with them. Enter Public Enemy, a famous tag team from ECW, and the rumor is they walked into the WWF with an attitude. They allegedly refused to go through the tables that were planned for the finish of their match. They wanted to do business their way. They didn't want to look weak. So the APA decided to do business their way. When the bell rang on Sunday Night Heat, it was not a match, it was a mauling. Bradshaw and Farouk beat the absolute hell out of them. Legit punches, full force clotheslines, spine busters that looked like car crashes. They destroyed Public Enemy. They beat them with weapons and then threw them out of the building. Now, this is what I call a little locker room justice. Was it bullying? Maybe, but in wrestling, if you don't trust your opponent to follow the script, you can't work with them. And the APA made sure Public Enemy never disrespected the locker room again. It's brutal to watch, but in that area, it was considered necessary to keep order. But here's where I draw the line. This one pisses me off. ECW One Night Stand 2005. There's a massive brawl in the ring to end the show. Chaos everywhere. JBL, he had a few libations, and he spotted the Blue Meanie. Now, JBL hated Blue Meanie for comments Meanie made online, allegedly. This was real life heat over basically some internet bullshit. JBL finds Meanie in the corner, who is not fighting back, by the way, and he just starts engaging in a shoot fight. He sucker punches him, claws his eyes where Meanie had recent staples, and busts him open bad, and Meanie is a bloody mess. This was not a receipt because Meanie didn't hit JBL first. This wasn't justice. This was a main event superstar taking a cheap shot at a guy who couldn't defend himself without losing his job. And now this is the dark side of stiff wrestling. When you use "it's a fight" as an excuse to assault someone you don't like, that's garbage. That's not being tough, that's being a coward. Finally, we have one of the most unprofessional moments of all of them. Perry Saturn versus Mike Bell, a jobber in 2001. Now, Mike Bell botched a snapmare. He's clumsy, He's not doing a great job. He's green. It happens. But Saturn, he snapped. He stopped wrestling. He started attacking. He kicks Bell in the face, for real, then throws him out of the ring. And this is the scary part. He drives Bell's head directly into the steel steps. Now, Saturn was punished for this. WWE gave him the moppy gimmick where he fell in love with a mop as a way to humiliate him and I guess maybe humble him. But honestly, he got off light. You're a pro. Your opponent is a rookie. If he messes up, you were there to guide him. You don't try and end his career because you're frustrated. That is weak. So where do I stand on all of this? I want wrestling to be stiff. I want it to look like a struggle. I want the chops to leave marks. But there is a middle ground between a soft dance routine and JBL assaulting the Blue Meanie. The magic of wrestling is two people trusting each other with their lives while making it look like they want to kill each other. But when that trust breaks like it did with Saturn or JBL, it's just ugly. Give me the grit of the APA. Give me the realism of Brock Lesnar, but keep the cheap shots at home. Now, if you think I'm wrong and receipts are just a form of bullying, tell me in the comments. And if you want to know why championships in wrestling don't mean what they used to, click this video right here on the participation trophy era of wrestling.